Hi guys, welcome back to the baseline. Today we're going to be talking about China, Russia, and Iran, and some of the plot twists we might have not seen coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the baseline, and we're going to try to connect the dots today between the World War III rumors, gas prices, TikTok bans, whatever. We're going to get into it, right? And most importantly, we're going to talk about Iran. So, here's the question we're going to try to tackle today. Will China and Russia help Iran if this whole thing with Israel explodes into a full-blown war? Now, right now, it feels like the Middle East is a giant game of Jenga, and some very bored superpowers are just flicking at the bottom blocks to see if the whole thing's going to fall. But if you're sitting at home and thinking, come on, this doesn't affect me at all, well, let me remind you, if this escalates, your Uber Eats is going to cost somewhere near $100. And your crypto, I don't know if we want to get into that, but let's not go there. But in any event, let's buckle up. We're going to go deep into this, and we're going to talk about the theater of war. Now, before we talk about Russia or China, let's address the word that gets tossed around a lot. And that word is theater. Now, people hear theater of war and they think it means, this is just fake. It's all for show. But no, it's not. This isn't Broadway, and no one's throwing jazz hands up in the air through Tel Aviv. When analysts say what's happening between Iran and Israel is theater, what they really mean is, yes, people are in fact dying. And that is a real thing and a really sad thing. But the timing, the targets, the narratives, they're all choreographed. And like that friend who only cries on Instagram Live, this is real emotion. But also, it's kind of strategic. And guess who's sitting in the audience with popcorn? You got it. It's Russia and China. Now, are they clapping? Are they throwing tomatoes? Are they going to sneak on stage mid-performance? Well, let's examine it and find out. So Russia is kind of the frenemy with benefits, right? Let's start with Russia. The ex who just won't go away. You guys ever have one of those? It's fun, isn't it? So now Russia and Iran, these two, they go way back. Think of them like high school friends who now run a shady startup together. In this case, the startup is Syria. Russia provides the air power, Iran brings the militias, and together they used to help prop up Bashar al-Assad, like he was the last Jenga block standing. And he was, as far as Syria is concerned, right? But if war breaks out between Iran and Israel, will Russia jump in? And the short answer might be no. And the long answer also might be no. But they'll help Iran cheat on the test. Russia doesn't want a war with Israel or the US, but you better believe they'll send a little tech support, maybe some satellite imagery, maybe a couple of, oops, we left these missiles lying around in Syria moments. But for Russia, every bullet fired in the Middle East is one less bullet aimed at Ukraine. It's like watching your enemies argue at Thanksgiving dinner. You're not going to stop them. You're just going to pass the stuffing and kind of watch the chaos, maybe even enjoy it a little bit. But China, on the other hand, is the silent investor. We should almost call their company Apocalypse Inc. or something like that. But now China is like that guy at the poker table who never seems to blink. You don't know if he's bluffing or playing to buy the entire casino. But China doesn't want war either. War is messy, and war is bad for business, at least for their business model, right? For the United States, it's a little bit different. But here's the twist to it all. China has been bankrolling Iran in secret for many years. And they buy Iranian oil under the table. And they sign like these massive 25-year-old deals with Iran, like their Costco memberships. And what they do is they offer Iran just enough support to survive, but not exactly enough to win. Now, why would they do something like that? Because China doesn't want Iran to win. They want Iran to be just dangerous enough to keep the United States distracted. It's like giving a toddler a Nerf gun and then watching the babysitter just panic. America is the proverbial babysitter in this scenario, and Iran is the toddler. And well, China is behind the couch filming it for TikTok. But what does China really want? What do they really want? And that's kind of difficult to really pin down, but let's try to break it down the best that we can. Russia wants the US to stop funding Ukraine, for sure. And I'm sure it also wants Europe to split on supporting Israel, which may happen. The price of oil is going to go way up, and they want that too, because that's their main export now. And that will lead to, I think, the corruption they like. But China wants to buy oil in yuan, not in dollars, and to broker peace deals and look like they're the new global boss. And most of all, for the United States to look like it can't keep its allies from going full Mad Max. Basically, both want the same thing. A world where the United States looks tired, chaotic, and broke. And they look calm, rich, and rising. Kind of like the cool kid in class, right? Watching their teacher spill coffee on their pants. They're not going to help. They're just going to smirk under their breath, right? So this is the proxy chessboard we're looking at. And you know what this really is? It's like a proxy war in 4D. Iran funds Hezbollah and Hamas. Israel targets Iranian commanders in Syria. Russia plays air traffic control. China plays the banker. And this isn't a world war. It's a world of warcraft. And every side is leveling up their own factions. You don't need boots on the ground when you've got drones in the air, hackers in the cloud, and influencers spinning propaganda faster than any kind of YouTube apology video you've ever seen. So let's not forget that cyber warfare is a very real thing. And the next war, it may not be nuclear bombs at all. It may be shutting down TikTok or data leaks, power grid shutdowns. Imagine waking up and your Amazon account recommends only Russian videos or documentaries, you know? That's psychological warfare, man. And what it means for you, well, you might want to think, you know, well, cool geopolitical rant, but what does this mean for me or for you or for us? Well, let's try to break it down the best we can. Your gas prices, they're about to do the Macarena, guys. They're going to go up. And your groceries made with imported wheat, soy, and despair from some other countries, your TikTok feed might become a Cold War highlight reel. And your taxes, yep, they're already funding at least 2 conflicts by lunch. If this escalates, we're looking at a generation-defining split in global power. America might win the next battle, but if it loses the narrative, then guess what? The next world leader won't be decided by tanks, but by trade, by technology, and most of all by trust. And right now, Russia and China are investing in all 3 of those. So what's the real question here? What can we take away from all this? We can look at this. Are we watching history? Or are we going to participate in it? Because wars aren't just fought by armies, right? They're fought by eyeballs, by narratives, by economic choices. And I think we all have a role, you know, and we need to learn who's profiting from all of this chaos. Now, I don't know if our voting system is real. It seems like a lot of politicians are so bought and paid for. But if it is, vote like peace depends on it. you know, and if you get a chance to speak up, even on this video, even if you disagree, you know, see the other side, look at both sides, and maybe ask yourself, if I had to explain this war to my future self or my future grandkids, what side of history would I want to be on this? Would it be the loudest, the angriest, or maybe would it be to be the most informed side and the most human side? Because the world, I mean, I don't think anybody wants more war. It surely doesn't need more war. But more wisdom, I think that would be great for the world. Now, that's it for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Those are just my meandering thoughts this morning. But let me know what you guys think. And if I'm completely off or if I'm misreading this situation, it's important that we all get each other's perspectives and come to a conclusion that's based on facts and evidence rather than all the emotion that's out there right now, which is also understandable, but I don't know. In any event, guys, I really appreciate you guys watching The Baseline, and we'll look forward to catching you on the next episode. But thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Cheers.